Let's take a live look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Out of the jump, you can see stocks are relatively flat. The S&P 500 is looking to break a three-day losing streak, while the Dow and Nasdaq have been edging higher. Mark DeCambry is here. He is the editor-in-chief of the financial news website MarketWatch and can help us understand some of the bigger forces in the market right now. Good morning, Mark. Great to have you with us.
Good morning.
I want to ask you about artificial intelligence because OpenAI has now announced that it's working with Amazon for a potential $10 billion investment in AI chips.
Yeah.
What does that really mean, and how might it hit the tech sector?
So this is about power and scale for OpenAI. We're talking about artificial intelligence moving away from just sort of like, a plaything into a more intense push to drive the infrastructure pieces of it. So what OpenAI is trying to do is look to Amazon for its chips. Amazon has a chipset called Trainium. It's used for modeling OpenAI or OpenAI models, and it's lower cost than some of the other chips like NVIDIA chips. So this is OpenAI looking to diversify its assets so that it can also build out that infrastructure. The other thing to note as well is that you're seeing a lot of these partnerships because a lot of these companies, these big companies, are realizing that they can't go it alone, and they need to work together in order to build out these roads and bridges of the AI world.
And we know that a lot of investors are waiting to recoup the investments in so much AI with these fears that perhaps it's a bubble. When is AI going to really show that it's worth the billions of dollars people are pumping into it? Another big topic I want to ask you about is, U.S. inflation and interest rates, but I want to ask you in the context of what's happening in the UK, because instead of what's happening here, and the inflation rate in the UK is cooling. This might encourage the Bank of England to cut interest rates at its next meeting tomorrow.
That's right.
Might it feed into anything here in the U.S.?
The Fed doesn't base its policy off of the UK. That being said, yes, inflation in the UK cooled to 3.2%, which is encouraging for the UK and the UK policymakers at the Bank of England. It could suggest that they pull back rates, or that they have the scope to pull back rates tomorrow when they meet. What it means for the U.S. is this. It sets up an environment in which not just the U.S., but the global environment is starting to see inflation pull back a little bit. We also saw Fed Governor Christopher Waller earlier today talk about his anticipation that in 3 to 4 months, inflation will start to pull back as well. We had some other Fed governors and Fed members, John Williams, talk about inflation pulling back. Also, Stephen Mirren talking about the expectation that inflation is perhaps viewed as a little bit punchier than one should think it, and that all gives scope for possible rate cuts. There's no bets on a rate cut coming in January, but there's hope that inflation will cool enough to set the stage for further pulling back if necessary.
I know a lot of folks are at least hoping for that, so
Absolutely.
It's one sign that maybe it's possible. Mark DeCambry, great to have you with us today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.